Hey, this is Brian. Welcome to Philosopher's Notes TV. Today we have a book called It's Not About the Money. I would hold it up and show it to you if I had it, but I don't know where I had an advanced copy of the book, actually in manuscript form, when I created this note before it was published. Awesome book. It's not about the money. The subtitle to the book is Unlock Your Money Type to Achieve Spiritual and Financial Abundance. It's written by a friend of mine named Brent Kessel, who's both one of the leading financial planners in the country, in the U.S., one of the top 250 financial planners in the U.S. as determined by Worth magazine. He manages over $800 million of capital, and he's a total yogi. So he's the contributing financial guy to Yoga Journal. So he's a really amazing combination of spiritual practitioner and uber successful financial planner. And in this book, he essentially integrates those two. He went around the world studying and interviewing everyone from the Dalai Lama to Thich Nhat Hanh to the founder of Vanguard mutual funds and a bunch of other people. Collected a variety of different opinions and has distilled his wisdom into this awesome book. So really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it if you, like me, have kind of struggled with some of your issues around integrating your spirituality with your finances. A couple other books that were really helpful for me on that front: Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth, just a good human being, unity minister, bringing spirituality to our economics, and then The Science of Getting Rich. Funny title, great book. And those two books were huge. We've got another dozen or maybe 10 in the abundance classics that we have in the 100 that you can check out both the PNTVs on and the notes. So here, let's jump in. The first big idea is the idea of addressing our wanting mind. So if you haven't noticed, we've got this part of our consciousness that craves things. That's what they call the wanting mind. You want this, you want that. And there's this story that you won't be happy until you have this, or that, or this, and that, or whatever the combination is. And money tends to be a very popular subject for the wanting mind to crave after. So we want to pay attention to our wanting mind. And remember that, I should mention the theme of the book is captured in this really awesome quote before I turn the first page. Let's get this one done. He says, though outer wealth rarely leads to inner wealth often leads to outer wealth. As we invest in ourselves, which is what all these teachers talk about and what these notes are all about, as we invest in our own consciousness, we have the consciousness that naturally attracts and circulates all of the abundance we want in our lives, from financial to spiritual to love to kindness, generosity, appreciation, etc. So that's kind of the gestalt here. The wanting mind, it's kind of like what psychologists call a hedonic treadmill. Hedonic treadmill. It's when you're on a treadmill, right, of wanting. You're not getting anywhere. You take the next step, and you get this, and you get that, and you get this and that, but you didn't go anywhere. You didn't get any happier. And he says these desires would be fine if they actually gave you what you thought they'd give you, happiness, lasting happiness, but they don't. So we want to separate wanting mind desires from heartfelt desires. We don't want to get rid of our desires. That in itself is a desire, and that's a silly thing to think about. But we just want to translate and transfer from the wanting mind's desires for all the pleasure, all the financial rewards and all the fast cars and big houses and stuff like that, which is almost always wanting mind stuff, to really heartfelt desires. Well, who do you really want to be? What do you really want to create in your life? What does financial abundance mean for you beyond impressing people, beyond having the latest gadget or fastest car or biggest house or fastest yacht or whatever it is that you get all excited about, and transfer to the heartfelt desires, the truly dharmic impulses we have within us, like a Buddha's desire to reach freedom and enlightenment so that he can figure out what the cause of suffering is, experience his own level of happiness so he can inspire and empower the world to experience that. That's an authentic, heartfelt desire. The Buddha was not without desires. He just learned how to turn his wanting mind off. He realized this was silly. Wanting mind desires are just really kind of silly. Rumi says, the intelligent want self-control. Children want candy, right? The intelligent, heartfelt desires, we want self-control. Children want candy. And unfortunately, the self-development genre doesn't have the strongest reputation in helping us discover and go after our heartfelt desires. Stuff is sold, whether it's self-development books or, lose belly fat books or get-rich-quick schemes, by selling to the wanting mind, right? And setting up all these ridiculous goals that we want to have. Again, the faster cars, bigger houses, etc. We want to shift our goals. And a big part of my evolving philosophy is shifting from those having goals to being goals. Who do you want to be? What are your highest goals? How can you connect to and express the divine within you more consistently? Live with joy, appreciation, love, kindness, generosity, courage, creativity, all the virtues you aspire to. You want to be remembered for, right? What do you want to create? Being goals and creating goals. What do you want to create? A family, a thriving business that serves your community, a piece of art. What do you want to create? Being, creating. Then what do you want to do? Kind of the bucket list stuff, right? Fun things you want to do in your life. And then what do you want to have? And I think that the have goals, really, we want to get them in lines, that those things are in integrity with our doing, our creating, and our being goals. I want to have, beautiful things in my life, mostly, almost entirely because they support my actualization. I love getting massages. I love living in a beautiful home. I love eating wonderful food. But it's very different than the old pursuits I used to have of the fast car. I had the Porsche, sold the Porsche for a Prius. We all got to go through that. But let's really find those heartfelt desires that we know are connected to our higher selves. That's a huge idea. He's got some great quotes on it here. And then he also talks about a core story. We have a core story driving our financial show. He says a 4-year-old runs your financial story, really runs your life. It's kind of like our conscious mind is the tip of an iceberg. It's the 4-year-old consciousness that we've been programmed how to see the world. Then we've got this iceberg below, right? That's our subconscious mind, all the things we've been conditioned to believe. We may want to go here, but if our subconscious mind is programmed for scarcity and fear and anxiety, we're going to go and float in this direction. No matter how much we want to go here, no matter how many vision boards we have, we've got to deal with the subconscious stuff. His book is awesome for that. I'm not going to go into it right now, but check out the note for both core story issues and archetype issues. He talks about 8, I believe, archetypes that we tend to fall into. And you can look into that in the note and in the book, of course, which would be here if I had it. So another really big idea I want to cover, he has this amazing story about a study that was done with people who were at risk for heart attacks, right? And they wanted to see how many times individuals used the words I, me, and my. I, me, and my. And they wondered if the number of times someone uses those words would be related to whether or not they actually had a heart attack. What do you think? Well, perhaps not surprisingly, those who are so self-centered that their words choices are dominated by I's, my's, and me's tend to, that was the strongest predictor of mortality among heart attack victims. Not only was it correlated, those who didn't use those words as often weren't as likely to have heart attacks. Not only was it more correlated, it was the strongest predictor of mortality among heart attack victims. Amazing. So expand your sense of self. Use money as a vehicle for expansion and go out and rock it. I covered more on the heartfelt goals than anything else, but hope you dug it. Check out the note, check out the book, get your core stories and archetypes rocking, and remember, it's not all about the money. All right, have an awesome day. More soon. See you.